really change that culture is the guy who's in charge.
Well, with that being said, Vicki, Dillard, and Anubis, welcome to the Free Think Zone. We've been having a great conversation. Vicki, I want to start with you, and that we've teed it all up, and you don't have to follow any particular question, but just what's on your heart, what's on your mind, and what would you like to ask and bring into this discussion with presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for coming. I would like to talk about the Holocaust briefly, the Black Holocaust, the most devastating human tragedy that has ever existed, that's lasted longer than any other for going into 500 years, that has neither ceased nor desist, and we have not received reparations. And just up from chattel slavery, convict leasing, and all of these other injustices, and under the heel of Jim Crow, our people went to Germany to fight Hitler to deliver some of the Jews from his hand, only for them to turn around and call some of us anti-Semitic. There is a multi-volume book that talks about the secret relationship between blacks and Jews, because we know that some of the most damning and devastating effects that we've experienced in slavery had to do with members of the Jewish community. This is important to understand. Why am I bringing this up? Because our perspective of the world is unmatched in every way. So when we talk about something being a genocide or something being a problem, I think our opinion should matter, and it should be listened to very closely. In terms of reparation, the emphasis should be lineage-based. I am not only a media personality in alternative media, independent media, but I am also a spiritual teacher. I've had supernatural encounters since I was a child. And so the thing that I'm having here, even with you here, sir, is prophetic and was prophesied years ago. And I must tell you, what I'm saying to you is not even an opinion. It is something that I want you, with respect and great humility, to remember. There is an unseen government, and they're actually using you as well as your family. And whether, no matter who's paying you, which is suspect right now, and no matter how your positions seem to be divergent and doesn't quite make much sense when we see how strongly you are on so many other issues of justice. But when it comes down to the issues of reparations, and when it comes down to this notion of ceasefire, which is absolutely nothing at all, and your extraordinary and misguided defense of Israel, it is a serious problem. I want you to understand that whatever you decide to do, whoever it is that's backing you, and whatever your thought process, and no matter what you think about it, you're supposed to represent the people. And the majority of the people are telling you, no matter what you think about Israel, we said no. And if we want to hear you say what we say in the majority. So whatever you individually think should not take precedent over the majority of us. And especially when you see folk like us talk. That should hold greater weight because of our unique position. Let me say this. Indeed, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his justice cannot sleep forever, that considering numbers, nature, and natural means only a revolution of the wheel of fortune, listen, and exchange of situation is among possible events, that it may become probable for supernatural interference. This was from Thomas Jefferson. He understood that the hell that they brought upon the foundational black American, who's responsible for the creation of America, based on our black blood that was shed on our nightmare, this American dream to which many flee from around the world. He said, and he knew that there was going to be a moment of justice that America would have to pay. So there was nothing.
But real quick, I'm getting a signal from the back also. Vicki, you have a question?
I don't.
No question, it's comment.
Yes, I'm going to finish my comment. How many, do I have a few seconds left?
Sure.
Thank you, no question. And the reason there's no question is because I've watched you, and particularly some of your exchanges, or your promised exchange you were supposed to have with Max Blumenthal, who was the foremost authority on this notion of Israel. And I've noticed how you've come down when it comes down to reparations. So it's not my job to try to ask a question about this. I want you to remember what I say and consider the things that I'm saying. I'm almost finished. Reparations is lineage, should be lineage-based. And so long as we can prove that our ancestors were enslaved, that should be the emphasis, lineage-based reparations. Lineage-based reparations is a debt America owes. It is not you being altruistic or philanthropic. It is owed, and America must pay her debt. And I should say this, when I talked about the interconnection between the spiritual aspect of Thomas Jefferson, he understood that no matter what you try to put forward, whether it's vaccines, whether it's the economy, whether it's the drama between the political parties, it is interconnected to the fact that you've not dealt with the original sin. So you're going to have hell in every area in America and around the world if we don't get justice. You understand? My last point. Judith Varney Shore. Do you know who she is? Former Israeli consul. And the meeting was recorded. I did multiple broadcasts on this. You can Google it. It'll pop up. She said a few years ago, as an Israeli government official, that the problem with Israel is black American youth. No congressional hearing was had. We find out that the issue with the police department, many police officers in the United States are trained by the Mossad and Israeli soldiers. They come here and they fly over there. And they have actually traced credibly some of the training to some of the actual injuries and murders of our people here in these United States of America. And $4 billion every year since Israel's existence would be a hell of a down payment for our reparations. So I would say that to you, brother, and I would say to consider that America has no choice. And perhaps you were called for such a time as this because you have a level of energy that has to do with justice, and this unusual grouping of the danger that you pose to both sides could go further when you do right by us. So this resistance, last point, that you have with reparations, this resistance that you have, if that isn't dealt with, you're going to run into problems in more ways than one.
Thank you, Vicki. And
so let me address a couple of things.
Do you call it now?